$90 billion, which, by the way, is nothing because they gave the bankers to the Fed $7.7 trillion. But they didn't even do the modification program they said they would do on mortgages. In the end, homeowners, they got piddling $4 billion. Now, it's also connected to race in the sense that more African Americans and more Latinos had a greater percentage of their wealth in their homes. When their homes went under, a great percentage of their wealth also went up. So that's why they got disproportionately affected. They also got disproportionately affected in unemployment. And what has been the response so far? Not much. And when we had recovery, 90% of the recovery went to the 1%. That was not during the Bush years. That was in 2010, during the Obama years. Now, that's the substance of it. But obviously, Cornel West said it in a very inflammatory way. JR, I know you've got some thoughts on this. What do you think? Too far?
Yeah, well, it's only, as we know, I mean, we've had other criticisms as we do on the show about things he's done, things he hasn't done, things he could do. Everybody knows that. But the thing is, at least you need to have a way that you do it. Cornel West has a respected name, and he's listened to by a lot of people in general, not just black folks. People respect him. But when you come and start throwing names or loud things like a Republican in blackface, first of all, that's saying that all Republicans are white, which we don't, the vast majority are.
Well, I'll give him that one.
But I'm just saying, yeah, but it's going into the mudslinging name calling when you're smarter than that, and now you can easily be pushed aside. If you actually want something to change or want President Obama to listen to you or hear what you have to say, there's a way to approach this. It's like, how do you go and talk to someone and you start off, I'm not saying it's the first thing he's saying, but you go into it and just go calling names that actually really match up. I mean, where's the why blackface? We know that's
reason for it. Now, look, I'm kind of mixed on this, but look, Jerry. So two things on this. Number one, if he had just said all the criticism about, hey, you know, it wasn't addressed to the African Americans without their code, etc., and he said it on the now. Now, you know, we've been covering the media together for over 10 years now. You know it would have gotten 1% of the press. I don't know if it would have gotten any press. And the reason people are paying attention to what he said is because of the way he said it. So that's very relevant, right?
I don't think they're listening to what he's saying more. I mean, I remember, and I'm one of the people, I thought this Kucinich has a lot of good points. He ran in the primaries back in 08. But he said one time about UFO, so they can easily shove him aside. You don't have to listen to anything else he has to say, because that's the crazy guy who said UFO. Now, Cornel West, who's actually a smart guy, who has a lot of excellent points, he's that crazy that they call Barack Obama a Republican in blackface. Now, even people like, even in the establishment of the Democratic Party can say, oh, that guy's crazy. And they can now shove him aside and get more people to listen to him, shove him aside. And now he's losing his voice.
No, I hear you, and that's a great point. But it's not crazy and out of this world to call President Obama a Republican in blackface. I'm not saying I agree with it, right? What I'm saying is he's saying he looks like he's one of us, but he's not one of us. He's saying it's a Trojan horse. So he's got a blackface, but he's not acting that way. Now, look, there's a way of acting black, so I disagree with Cornel West in that too. And Jerry, I definitely hear your arguments, and I don't want Brother Cornel to lose the strong voice he has, and if he gets discredited, right or wrong, by the media, I'm worried about that, right? But at the same time, he's one of the very, very few people in the country who's actually saying, hey, what about poverty? And what about African Americans? And what about that these Democrats and Republicans largely agree that they're going to give all the breaks to the rich, again, even after President Obama got elected. So in the end, you know what? If he was among JR out of the dozens of people, hundreds of people trying to bring attention to this, and he steps out in this way, I would say it's self-aggrandizing, as a lot of people are now saying, right? To try to stand out from that crowd. But since he's among the very, very few that are doing it, and he shouts in a way that we might not necessarily agree with, I'm much more willing to give him a break.
As long as it just leaves a bad taste. I would hope that, I'm going to have my own prediction. It's not going to get you anywhere. They're not going to listen because you the name called. I don't even see the connection. But still.
No, I hear you on that. And let me tell you something. They weren't going to listen to him anyway. Okay. They're like, oh, what'd you say? Oh, poor people? That's a good one. Look at this. Look at Brother Cornel with the joke. Look at Brother Cornel with the joke.
Dr. Cornel West is among America's most provocative intellectuals, a Princeton professor and lifelong pioneer of working class rights and racial justice. At year's Left Forum conference in New York City, Doc's appearance drew thousands of activists aiming to revitalize the American left.
I want to be in solidarity with Martin King Jr.
Once vocal supporter of U.S. President Barack Obama, Dr. West tells RT his opinion has drastically changed. Doc, thank you very much for taking the time to speak with RT.
Blessed to be here.
Dr. West, of 1,200 speakers from around the world who have come here to New York to take part in the Left Forum. This year's theme is called Towards a Politics of Solidarity. Why do you think an event like this is so important?
One, I just want to pay tribute to the visionary figure behind the Left Forum who played such an important role in sustaining it. We are now experiencing a radical democratic awakening in the American empire, in the United States, deeply affected by what's going on in Northern Africa, deeply affected by what's going on in the Middle East, and more now shaped by what is happening in Madison, Wisconsin, and Columbus, Ohio, and other capitals. So that I think we've had so much sleepwalking in the United States, where, of course, Wall Street oligarchs and corporate elites have been not just dominating, but in me, billions and billions of dollars from the public funds, and based on their financial the shadow financial system, making billions and billions of dollars as poor and working people are pushed to the margins. And I think more and more working class persons who thought they had a secure existence recognize that their plight is more and more tied to the plight of poor people and tied to the plight of working poor people. So we're experiencing now the early stages of a kind of shift in perception in the United States.
Dr. West, you have mentioned several times that Americans are working harder than ever before. They are earning less than ever before. And the economic disparities in this country are deepening and deepening.
Absolutely.
You call yourself